Newsday, welcome back. And an attack on two paramedics at the weekend has again raised local concerns about an increase in assaults on emergency services personnel. The paramedics were shot at while attending to a case in Sandringham. It's a suburb just east of Johannesburg. Joining us now is Robert Mulaudzi, who speaks for Johannesburg Emergency Services. Good afternoon to you. A very lengthy statement that you put out today says, and I quote, "On a weekly basis, the city of Johannesburg, we're hearing reports of incidents where emergency services personnel are either attacked, hijacked or robbed of their belongings while rendering an essential service to our communities." How bad is it getting?
It is getting bad, Mr. Max. Now it's creating a lot of fear and panic amongst us as emergency services personnel while we're supposed to render the service. I think in the previous months, weeks, it was the Western Cape, but now it looks like Johannesburg, specifically, Gauteng, we are having an escalation in terms of this number of attacks. If it's either, robbery, hijackings, and also, attacks while emergency services personnel are rendering this a very important, essential service to our community.
And it's across the city, is it?
Yes, it's across the city, yes.
Do you think these are random attacks, or do you think there might be something more to it? Could they be coordinated, perhaps?
Yes, from our side, we are not really, sure about. We are actually expecting that maybe some reports, maybe further investigations from the police will assist us in terms of that. However, from our side, we are really concerned because it doesn't only happen, Mr. Max, on our informal settlements. It's happening everywhere, even in our suburban areas where, it's a formal residential area, we still get attacks, so it's really a concern.
Would it be your belief that emergency services personnel are perhaps easier targets than most?
Yes, from our side, yes, you are raising another question. Somebody once said to us, maybe Mulaudzi, you must look at having some martial arts lessons and things like that. But I said to that person, no, it wouldn't work for us, because when we respond to emergencies, we are focusing on assisting people. And those people who are taking us, they know that we are vulnerable. We don't carry, guns and anything which can protect us.
But tragically, you've become sitting targets.
Exactly. And then from our side, the issue of us having police escort all the time, we don't really think that it's feasible. Why? Because we cannot really afford situations where every time when we have to go to an incident, we're having police, because they also have their own issues to deal with these crimes and other things, and they might not even have enough police vans to escort us. If you're looking at least Soweto only, Mr. Max, you find that let's say in Chabulani we're running between 5 and 6 ambulances which are servicing the area of Chabulani. So you'll need 6 police vans to escort each and every ambulance to each and every emergency, which is not...
I take your point about using the SAPS, but surely you must be thinking at this point of maybe private security guards riding on ambulances.
Yes, we are looking at, firstly, we're looking at engaging our communities to find a solution, because most of our communities, they've already got structures like your street committees, your community policing forums. There's councillors in the area. So we're looking at engaging them first, try and find a solution, because the people we're talking about who are, these criminal elements are within the communities. So communities need to work with us so that we can be able to remove the people who are disrupting the service, because they are not only, these disruptions.
That's not really a solution, though. I mean, you are vaguely asking communities to work with you is not going to solve the immediate problem of your staff being attacked and potentially killed.
Yes.
Surely you need a more radical solution at this point.
Yes, we did, because from our side, we don't even want to come to a situation where, Mr. MX, where we will have a situation where we'll have a no-go area. We cannot afford that, because the people who are still going to suffer are our communities. So that is the reason why we're saying no. We cannot afford to have situations where there will be areas where will be highlighted which say, no, you don't go to Deep Sloat, you don't go to Orange Farm, you don't go to Sandringham, you don't go to Freedom Park, because there are attacks there.
So but by naming places like that, it also tells me that you're starting to think in that respect, that you might be forced into implementing.
Exactly. If the situations doesn't, become normal, then we won't have a choice, because we could have done all the solutions which I've mentioned earlier on, to say we'll have to engage our communities, and make sure that we eradicate, this situation, because we cannot really afford to work in this kind of situations, because you can understand the panic amongst all the paramedics out there now, when they have to, because we work day and night.
Are you getting to a point now where paramedics are turning around and saying, enough is enough, we either want to leave the service or we are not prepared to go to these places?
Exactly. Is
that happening right now?
That's what's going to happen in future if the situation continues.
Is it happening now, though?
No, it's not happening. Our paramedics are still willing to go out and service our communities. So that's the reason why we want to give our communities a chance to make sure that we come up with a solution, because we actually, raised up our hands to say we want to render this very important service. We understand that by nature our work is dangerous, but our communities, our residents can make it better for us, can make the environment better for us to work on.
Just finally, I'm assuming that while we've seen an increase in these attacks, it is already having an impact on the service that you're offering in terms of response time, for instance.
Yes, exactly, because now...
Which puts lives at risk.
Exactly, because now if we have to go to Mr. Max, if Mr. Max is calling us for an emergency, we'll have to fire the police station. That half an hour later on, we're waiting for a police van to escort us. Somebody might lose his or her life, you see. So that's the reason why we don't even want to go there. We want to be free to be able to respond to any emergency anytime. Yes.
Right, Robert Mulaudzi, thank you very much indeed. Speaks for Johannesburg Emergency Services. Now,